Okay. I just saw it came up. Oh, it says your meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Live on YouTube and recording. Okay, we're good, yeah?
Yep, we're good. Thank you for your
Oh,
patience.
great. Okay. So we'll call to order. The meeting of the Kailua Village Design Commission will come to order. The time is 5:21 p.m. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Roth. I'm the chairperson of the Kailua Village Design Commission. I'll go down the list and introduce the commissioners that we have on the conference today, on the meeting today. We have Jasmine Kuruset, Bryant Ching, Michaela Ikiuchi, Riley Smith, and Zahn Sullenberger. And according to our new rules, I should ask all the commissioners, does anyone have someone else there with you in the room? Okay, seeing no hands, we'll go on. The commissioner's role is to provide an architectural and design review of proposed projects, including landscaping and signage within the Kailua Village Special District. The commission is an advisory body. For sign permits, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Public Works Director for action. For architectural design review, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Planning Director for action. Procedures of this for this meeting are that Robert's Rules of Order will be used to conduct the meeting. Each commissioner wishing to speak should be recognized by the chairperson before speaking. Applicants and members of the public should be recognized by the chairperson when testifying or asking questions. Public testimony will be taken. Each application will be heard in the order listed on the agenda. Staff will introduce each project. The applicants will be asked to make a presentation or statement, which will be followed by questions from the commissioners. The commission, after discussion, will vote to make a recommendation for approval, denial, or deferral. Before we go to the minutes item on the agenda, I believe the first item is Sunshine Law Change Update by Corporate Counsel.
Hello, thank you, Sean, Commissioner Chair Roth. Let's see if I am any more technologically adept than anyone else here. What I am planning to do is give you a brief update on the Sunshine Law. A fair chunk of what we're going to talk about is stuff that you're already familiar with, but the Sunshine Law was updated as of January 1st. So there are a few changes, some of which you're already implementing by making sure to properly introduce everyone and announce if you have someone in the room with you if we're doing these remote meetings continuing. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. And what I will be sharing in the event that I don't manage to do it, but either way, this is one of the two handouts that you received as part of your board packet. And both of those handouts are documents that were prepared by the State Office of Information Practices, who is our great guru of all things Sunshine Law. So that's where it came from. That's what I'll be sharing. And in order to keep me on track, I have a little script written out for myself, which I am going to, because of the kind of awkward setup of my computer here in the office, I have that, or I will in a moment have that open in the screen that shows me all of your faces. So because I will not be able to see you raising a hand or looking like you want to ask a question, I'm going to ask that we hold questions until the end of my presentation, which is fairly brief. And then once I am through needing to look at my script for myself, I will answer any questions that everybody has. So let's see if we can share my screen to get that up for you. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Notes on sunshine training. Share. Oops. I'm sorry. I'm giving you the wrong screen. I'm virtually certain. Okay. Let's. Gosh. All right. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, good grief. All right. I am doing this even worse than I thought. I'm giving you my script. Why don't we do this? Da-na. Da-na. There we go. Okay. Resume share. That looks better. Okay. And we'll move you guys here. All right. So getting started. So good afternoon, commission members. I'm Jean Campbell, your Deputy Corporation Counsel. Thank you for allowing me some time this afternoon to provide you a refresher on the Sunshine Law. I expect that most of this is simply a reminder of things you already know and practice, but the Sunshine Law, as I just mentioned, has been updated as of January 1st of this year. So there's some new important elements to be familiar with. Currently, due to the recent COVID surge, some of these provisions have been put on hold to reduce the risk of our gathering together. As I mentioned, the slides we're going to look over were created by the Office of Information Practices of the state, and they include more information than we're going to cover in detail today. If you have questions, we will go over them at the end of the presentation. As noted in the slides, there's also additional information and training available on the OIP website at oip.hawaii.gov, and I encourage you to review that as they are a very helpful resource. Okay. So, as you know, your design commission is subject to the Sunshine Law, and you are all representatives of the County of Hawaii when you are acting as a commissioner. The purpose of our Sunshine Law is to protect the public's right to know how government is functioning and to ensure that all governmental processes are open to both public scrutiny and public participation. Some of these requirements may feel overbearing for your work, but it's important to remember that the same Sunshine Law applies to all governmental functions with only a very few exceptions. So think of the agency you think could most use a ray of sunshine, and the law will make more sense. Okay. As noted, your work is also subject to the Uniform Information Practices Act, or our UIPA, which is our open records law. UIPA has essentially the same purpose as the Sunshine Law to ensure that government work is conducted as transparently as possible. And this means that all the records of the commission are open and available to the public on request. With these purposes in mind, we need to remember that when a question about the application of the law isn't clear, both laws' provisions should be liberally construed or interpreted in favor of open meetings and full disclosure of information rather than closed meetings. I'm sure you already know most of these basic requirements of the Sunshine Law. All commission business must be conducted at a meeting. The meeting must be open unless there's a specific provision of the law allowing for a closed meeting. Notice must be provided prior to meetings, which we do via your published agenda and board packet. The commission must also accept offered public testimony, which you do, and minutes of the meetings must be kept. All of this currently happens for your commission, with much of that work handled by the planning department staff. So thank you, staff. The first question that should be considered is, what is commission business? Commission business is all matters over which the commission has supervision, control, jurisdiction, or advisory power that are before you or reasonably anticipated to come before you in the foreseeable future. These are matters that you must be very careful about discussing with each other outside of a meeting. This next slide gives you a little bit more information about what constitutes commission business. And since you have a copy of these slides, I'll let you look into those details a little bit more on your own. So as commission members, you are allowed to interact outside of a meeting to discuss any non-commission business. So the weather, your families, whatever else might interest you. It's the interaction, and it's important to remember that interaction includes talking, texting, phone calls, emails, and all of that. So here we have some of the permitted interactions, which we will go over in more detail in just a bit. For commission business outside of a meeting, two of you can discuss commission business, but no horse trading or making of things like making a commitment to vote in a particular way. If I support your matter, you'll support mine, that kind of thing. So you're not allowed to do that. Also, serial communications are not permitted. So in other words, you can't pass on the same communication among just two people, but do it repeatedly. And this, as you probably are already aware, is why all the emails that are sent to you are sent using blind copies, so we don't accidentally begin an out of meeting discussion by email. Okay, the Sunshine Law does allow properly formed permitted interaction groups to meet and conduct business outside of a regular meeting. These groups must consist of fewer members than the number constituting a quorum for the commission. They must be formed during a formal meeting. Forming involves appointing the members to the permitted interaction group and defining the scope of the work to be done by the group. Once the work is completed by the group will report back to the full commission at a properly noticed meeting. No action can be taken on that report at that meeting. Any deliberation or decision-making regarding the work of the permitted interaction group must take place at a third meeting. So for these permitted interaction groups, which you probably do use every now and then, 3 meetings are required. 1 meeting to form the group, 1 meeting to report, and then a third meeting to discuss that report. The next slides are going to address a few other types of permitted interactions, which your commission seems less likely to encounter. So we're kind of going to breeze through these. And again, you can review this material more closely on your own. One thing to note is that you
sorry, Jane,
are
can you hear
allowed
me?
to discuss the selection of your chair and your vice chair outside of a meeting. So in the event that you need to cancel a meeting that was previously noticed due to the lack of a quorum appearing, the members who are present can accept public testimony on the agenda items noticed for the canceled meeting, and then that testimony will be reported to the full commission at the next meeting. And the idea there is we don't want to inconvenience members of the public who have taken the time to appear just because your meeting was canceled and they still want to provide their testimony. So the next few slides are still covering types of interactions, which I don't think are going to really be an issue for your commission. So we're going to kind of skim over these guys. Meetings with the governor, meetings with department heads, these kind of things. I don't expect it happens all that often, but you are allowed to close a meeting to have limited discussions in executive session. The slides are going to describe a little bit more for you the matters that can be discussed in executive session and the required procedures to do so. But these are typically used for legal discussions of privileged information between the commission and its attorney. So that would be me. We're not going to go through these right now. In the event that you do ever need executive session, we'll make sure that we follow those and do them correctly. So more on the requirements of executive session and then limited meetings. Excuse me. There is a provision for things called limited meetings. And again, I think it's unlikely that you're going to utilize these. And the bar to conduct a limited meeting is usually pretty high and kind of difficult to meet. So unlikely you're going to use those either. But there are requirements set up in your notes if you need them. So notice requirements. As you all know, public notice is required prior to your meeting, and the planning department staff takes care of this for you, the same with your board packet. So again, thank you, staff. As you know, you must follow your published agenda and not stray off to discuss matters that aren't on your agenda. The reasoning behind this is that the public needs to know what the commission is doing so they can decide whether they're interested in showing up for your meeting. If you discuss matters that aren't covered by your agenda, not only is it a violation of the Sunshine Law, but it robs the public of the opportunity to meaningfully participate with you. You're all familiar with your board packet that you receive prior to each meeting, and the staff does a great job of preparing these for you. It's a good idea. Obviously, highly recommended for you to review that so that you're ready to act on all your agenda items. Okay, board packets. Let's see, we are going to skip that one again. That's some more information about your board packets that you probably already know. It is possible to amend an agenda at a meeting, but we strongly recommend doing this. It's better to simply put everything you want to discuss on your agenda, and if something comes up at the last minute, add it to a future agenda and stick to your published agenda. So public testimony, as you know, the public can provide either written or oral testimony on any agenda items. You may set reasonable limits on the submission of testimony, such as a time limit on oral testimony at your meeting for efficiency. The last requirement is minutes. Written minutes must be kept, and your commission staff does this for you. So as you know, due to the COVID pandemic and social distancing requirements, the commission has been permitted to meet remotely. The changes to the Sunshine Law that went into effect in January address how we conduct our remote meetings. Although, as I noted earlier, some of these requirements have been temporarily suspended due to the recent surge in COVID cases. We expect currently that suspension is going to last through the end of February, but that may change to either be shortened or extended depending on how things are going. Going forward, remote meetings are still permitted so long as the technology used, in our case Zoom, allows for both audio and visual interactions between the commission members and the public. So during a meeting, at least a full quorum of the members must have your cameras on and be visible. At the start of the meeting, the chair, like you did today, the chair is going to announce the names of all the participating commission members. If you are participating remotely, you don't need to tell us where you are, but as Chair Roth requested today, you are now required to announce whether somebody is in your location with you, even if they aren't visible and they aren't actually participating in the meeting. So as an example, if I were a commissioner participating from home, I might need to announce that my husband is at home with me if he's there. You don't need to tell us the names of the people that you're with, but the idea is to eliminate any issues or appearance of issues if members are having side conversations with somebody on camera when their microphone is off. They're talking to somebody in the other room. It's better to make sure that we know who's there. So during your remote meetings, all votes must be conducted by a roll call vote unless they're unanimous. Since we don't necessarily know the outcome of a vote before it's taken, we recommend that all votes be roll call votes, except for the really easy things like usually your adoption of minutes and votes to adjourn the meeting, which are likely to be unanimous. Meetings should be recorded, which the staff handles again, and the recordings must be available to the public as soon as practicable until the written minutes are posted. Once the suspension of the in-person requirement is lifted, the Sunshine Law requires that if a meeting is held remotely, an in-person meeting must also be provided with an internet connection that will allow the public to participate. That's the piece of the Sunshine Law that has been currently suspended, so we don't all get together. There are requirements for conducting the meeting if that public participant connection is lost and unable to be reconnected within a half hour. Since we expect most of the time that the public location will be at a county building, hopefully this will not be an issue, but just know that there may be circumstances which require a meeting to be terminated if that connection is lost. Okay, this describes those requirements. And so the next type of meeting that is possible under the Sunshine Law is obviously, the in-person meeting that we were all used to prior to the pandemic is still available. And one of these days we may be able to get back to that. But the third type of meeting is what's called a multi-site meeting. And a multi-site meeting isn't considered remote because everyone who's participating is participating through one of the available sites and nobody is participating from home or another private location. So an example of a multi-site meeting that other boards and commissions who don't have the same sort of geographic concentration that you do might utilize would be one meeting site at the county building in Hilo and another one at the West Civic Center. I'm not sure that multi-site meetings are something that's likely you're going to do, but you can know that it is available if that's something that will work for you. There are this very similar connectivity requirements for multi-site meetings. And again, the staff will be taking care of that for you. Okay, and the final type of meeting is an emergency meeting. And again, I think it's kind of unlikely that you guys are going to need this. So we're going to kind of skip over that one. And that's it. So that's the end of the summary there. So the highlights to remember are we can continue to meet remotely so long as the current it's been a long day. The current proclamation is in place. We don't need to have the physical location, But as soon as that proclamation is suspended or expires, that's going to change. And to the extent that you want to continue to have remote meetings, we will need to provide a physical location for the public to participate as well. There are connectivity requirements, which can result in a canceled meeting, but hopefully they won't. While you're participating in a meeting remotely, your camera needs to be on. You need to tell us who's with you, and votes should be roll call votes. So that is the end of my little spiel here, and I will see what I can do to unshare. Here we go. Sharing screen is stopped. Okay, I think we're good. So now we're all back. And hopefully you guys see each other and not my random screens again. So with that terribly exciting and thrilling presentation, does anybody have any questions? Jasmine.
Actually, are we supposed to see slides throughout that presentation?
Oh, did I give you something totally random?
You gave us your whole entire
my script?
word.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, well.
But Jasmine, we have the
Do
slides.
not read his script.
Okay.
Yeah, my apologies. This has been a long day and I am obviously not terribly technologically adept. So apologies for that. The slides you were supposed to be looking at are the PowerPoint slides that you were sent during your in your board packet. So you should have received two documents. One is called 2021 SL for Sunshine Law Summary PPT, so PowerPoint notes. That is what I was intending to show you, which did show up in my other screen, but apparently not yours. And then the other one was I think it was called something along the lines of more full, let's see, what's it called? Hang on, Sunshine Info. The other one was called In-Depth Sunshine Review. And that just has some more information that's a little bit longer than what's in those PowerPoint slides. So my apologies for my lack of technological advance. Michaela.
First, I just wanted to say, Jean, I think you did a great job. First of all, but in addition, I did notice that it said we can continue to meet remotely with these new amendments to the sunshine laws without providing a physical location, but that will change in the future. So does that mean that we will be sharing like, oh, I'm based in Kailua, Kona, or is that more of the fact that we will have to be meeting at some kind of similar location at the same place?
So going forward, you have sort of three options for how you conduct your meetings. They can be the old style, everybody gets together in one place. You can do the multi-site meetings where you have two places where all of you are located at, excuse me, at those two, or it could be more, I suppose, places, and everybody is connected that way. Or you can continue to meet remotely the way you're doing right now. The suspension that's in place is, and once that's lifted, you can meet remotely, but if you do so, you also will need to provide a location, a public location that the public will be able to show up to that has an internet connection. So I expect typically what would happen is there will be a room at the West Hawaii Civic Center that has an internet connection that will both allow people to see what's happening and hear what's happening, and also present testimony and be involved in the meeting at that location. And that the requirement that we open up that in-person location to be conducted together with your remote meetings, that's the little piece of the sunshine that's been suspended right now, so that we don't encourage people to gather together at that remote location. So you can still do this, and it's just once the proclamation ends, we will be able to do this with that physical location attached to this.
Okay, that's great to know. I think that especially in such a rural area with so many people that don't have access to reliable internet, providing that kind of accessibility in the future will be really awesome again. So thank you, Jean, that was lovely.
Sure thing. Riley, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Jean. So just my specific question has to do with ensuring that you have a video feed for the commission members. If somebody has a low bandwidth connection and it impacts their ability to connect and they turn off their video, if we don't have 5 on video, does the meeting pause until we do?
Yeah, so what the requirement is now is that a quorum of the group, a quorum of the commission needs to be available on video. It doesn't need to be perfect throughout the whole meeting, but for the majority of the time, if the sort of equivalent that you would want to think about is if you were sitting in person, you know, obviously if you have a long meeting, one of you is allowed to get up and walk out to use the restroom for a moment or something and come back, and you don't necessarily suspend the meeting for that. So those kind of breaks in connectivity are probably fine, but what we are looking for is the equivalent of the whole commission sitting together, participating together in a meeting. And since we're allowing the remote meetings to continue, the new sunshine law requirement is that people be connected by both video and audio. So if your quorum is 5 and you have 6 members participating, 1 person is allowed to have their camera off for the entire meeting. Another one of you could, you know, have a little break in connection here and there. But if it turns out that you only barely have your quorum and 1 person loses their audio altogether, then at that point you would need to suspend the meeting.
So Jane, you just mentioned audio. Did you
I'm
mean?
sorry, I misspoke. I realized that after it came out of my mouth. If somebody loses their video, they would need to, obviously, if they lose their audio, you'd have to suspend as well because they couldn't participate any longer. But if they lose their video, then you don't have the quorum by video any longer.
Okay, so if I happen to need to get in my car to go to a location that has broadband, and in my car, I can't support video with my hotspot, then the meeting ends and we only have 5?
If, depending on, I don't know how far you are from a broadband location that you could get to, if it's say up to half an hour break, you can take that break, let yourself to a location that would work where you can reconnect by video, and then you'd be fine, you can keep going. But if it's really going to be, I'm sorry, I've lost my video altogether and, you know, it's not reasonable to get back to being reconnected, then yeah, you would have to suspend the meeting.
And so maybe it also depends on what is missed too, because obviously votes, you have to be there and be up. And then I would think also that public testimony, hearing the testimony is important, whereas since we all receive the packets, if you miss a little bit of the presentation of the packet, not such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, Jean, thank you very much for that presentation. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, Jean, is that all of?
That's all of the thrilling and exciting information I had for you. And again, apologies for my technological.
Okay, well, and then regarding that too, those sunshine documents are available to the public, is that correct?
Yes, they are available to anybody. They are on the state OIP website. So you and or anyone else can pull them up.
Anyone can go in and take a look. Great.
Yes. And they actually have quite a lot of other training and information. The OIP website is a great resource.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. I will sign off and let you guys continue on with your meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good evening, everybody. And again, you're all welcome to contact me with questions at any point, email or through the staff, or give me a call at the office. Okay, thanks guys. Have a good evening.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the minutes. The minutes from the November 9th, 2021 meeting were distributed. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand. So hearing no corrections, the minutes are approved. Next, now we've changed a little bit on the procedure because now we're allowing video testimony, I believe. So staff, are there any statements from the public?
Hi, Chair, it's Rosalind, staff person. There was no testimony by email or by mail.
Okay, and there's no one wanting to come on online? Yeah. Okay, great. So for the record, there are no statements from the public. So then the first, so we go on to new business. And the first item of new business is application PL-KBD-2021-50 the applicant, Mr. Bill McCowett, is the agent applicant for Sarah L. Acona Partnership and Kona Square Associates, is proposing exterior and tenant improvements for an existing commercial building on the restaurant, for the restaurant bar, Spinners, Daiquiri Bar and Lounge, and retail center along Ali'i Drive across from Kailua Pier. The exterior improvements include removal of first floor glass extension and awning with a new bronze roll-up door, new entry stairs off sidewalk, new stained wood, mid-brown suspended trellis, and outdoor umbrellas and tables underneath a new 36-inch black guardrail above a CRM wall along the front yard with landscaping, hanging rattan chairs in courtyard, a new mural alongside concrete block fence wall, no changes to the exterior colors of the building, and interior and tenant improvements not included in the design review. The applicant is Bill McCowett, landowner Sarah L. Acona Partnership. The leasee is Kona Square Associates. TMK 75006025, located at 75-5669 Ali'i Drive, number 1104, Kailua, Kona. Will the staff please give us an introduction to this application?
Thank you, Chair. It's Rosalind. I'm going to put up my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, do you see that? Okay,
Not yet.
Not yet, Ross.
not yet. Oh.
No.
Well. You see now?
Nope.
No.
Well, I've done everything I was thinking was right. You don't see it now.
Mr. Chair, this
Yes.
is Noriko. Okay, Mr. McCowett here.
Do you
After
see
we
this
should
now? I'm
quickly
sorry,
wait
but
for
you
him.
No, it's still
don't
not
see
showing.
this.
No.
We're not seeing the screen
I
yet.
don't understand why it's not showing. Oh, I forgot to hit share. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I was almost there. Sorry. Talk about technical difficulties. Okay.
There we go. Now we got it.
Okay, now I gotta just start all over again. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm almost there. Okay, you got that now? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is slide 1. You've already announced the agenda item, and this is for the Kona Square Associates. This is the building right across from Kona Pier. Right here is the tax map key. Here's the site. There's the pier. I don't know why it's funny how they show it like that. But this is a lead drive along here. I don't have my pointer. Along here. Okay. There is an aerial image of the restaurant right here. This is the restaurant of the Spinners Daiquiri Bar and Lounge, where it will be, right here. This is an existing restaurant. This is the Lee Drive, and there's the pier. This is a site plan provided by Mr. McCowett. This is the front right here, the Lee Drive. I can make this bigger. They want to kind of make some improvements here to put more of a drive-through and well, it says existing terrace. And so they want to put outdoor seating, is what you'll see in another slide. This is Spinner's Lounge right here where that would go. This is all existing retail restaurant, retail retail. So it's an existing commercial building. There was a plan approval from, well, before that, sometime, a preliminary plan approval was done in 1970, March 13th, 1970. So it's been around for quite a while. Okay. And then, I'm going back here. It shows the parking over here. They have 22 parking spaces on site. And they also want to add a bicycle rack over here and a moped rack. Okay. This is some of the color exhibits they're providing. This is proposed elevation on the bottom and existing elevation on the top. Zoom in on here. See that? This one on the proposed elevation shows the umbrellas and chairs in front of the restaurant in that kind of that looked like a dry terrace area on the site plan that I showed you. And this is the existing elevation, which you'll see later, which will show some of these exterior areas that will be removed just partially. And moving over to the slide, there's a black and white version of it. There's the fence, the 36-inch rail right here above the CRM wall with the landscaping. There's the suspended trellis right there. And see that? Here's some more color exhibits showing the umbrellas, different angle on the CRM wall with a 36-inch tall metal fencing or see that? Oops, didn't mean to draw there. Make this bigger. So some of these structures already, this restaurant already exists like that. The improvements are being done for the spinner lounge for the most part with this new trellis upstairs. Well, actually, that's part of the first floor. This is another slide where they've labeled the improvements. We've got an existing retail and dining complex. This is showing spinners. And let me try and zoom this in a little bit more. They're showing new suspended trellis and a new stained door, and the trellis color is mid-brown. There's a color exhibit. This canopy already exists, and these paint colors already exist. This is another overall image that they provided, a conceptual image, concept shots. This is some of the items, a little bit of work they're going to remove downstairs below the lounge. They're going to remove this part of this trim work right here, and they're going to repaint. They're going to repaint over here, and the concrete wall over here on the border boundary. They want to put a mural, which we're going to show in a minute. And this wall here would stay the same as wooden wall. Here they show the mural area will be on the CRM wall below the wooden fence. And here's an example of the artwork that they would select from. And that's the end of the PowerPoint. There is a variance for this site, variance number 207. That's a very old variance, but it allowed for them to have approximately 20 parking spaces on site and 15 parking spaces to provide it off site. So that will be reviewed further during their plan approval process. And the original plan approval approved for resort shops, restaurants, and offices followed by various plan approvals for tenant improvements over the years for the existing building. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Roz.
Okay.
Yeah, commissioners, did anyone have a question for Roz? I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand, so thank you, Roz.
Okay, you want to stop sharing?
Yeah, I had a
Well,
question.
oh, go ahead, Commissioner Ikiuchi, go ahead.
Raz, do you know how tall, if the bars themselves are about 3 feet tall, I noticed that there's a platform underneath them. Do you know what the total height is? On the outside facing the street?
Yeah, I understand the question. I didn't measure it. I would expect it not, I would expect it to be 6 feet or less overall.
Okay.
I didn't measure it.
Yeah, and okay,
Because it's in the front yard, it's got to be 6 feet or less.
that might be something that the applicant can answer for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's here.
Yeah, it depends what you call ground level, of course, but the the rock wall element that you see there is.
Sorry, Bill, but I'll say you're the go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry.
You want to present something, so yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then maybe you can just start off with that question. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. Aloha, commissioners. I'm Bill McCowett. I'm the planner for this project and the applicant on behalf of the the owners of Spinners. Getting back to that question, this what's actually a rock wall. It is a cinder block wall, but it's faced with rock veneer. Is existing, and it keeps that courtyard roughly 20 to 24 inches above the sidewalk as it is now. What we have found with experience over the years, I also did Seiji's sushi in the back of this complex, is occasionally people have fallen off of that element, that short, low rock wall, because there's a fair bit of drinking that goes on in this building, I guess. And we just feel that a guardrail is warranted in this case. Building code does not require it because it's less than 30 inches above grade. But nevertheless, we proactively would like to install this safety feature for that obvious reason, for safety. So total height from the sidewalk would be around 5 feet or 5'6" possibly. And total height as measured from grade on the courtyard side is roughly 3 feet.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have anything else that you'd like to present?
I thought Roz did a pretty good job. We can't or don't control the pink trim and so forth on the rest of the building, but it's, I like it. I don't have an issue with the rest of the building. It is going through the typical cycle of use, dilapidation, and renovation. So I think this is a pretty, perky renovation proposed for it and a good use. So we're just looking forward to an endorsement from you folks, and we'll go down this road. The other thing is on the guardrail, I think we might actually want to switch that to horizontal wire. So perhaps we could address that in the motion to approve, assuming there is one, that also be allowed to be a horizontal wire type of a frame. The same top rail and so forth, but the vertical elements would now run sideways and be thinner or less visible, I guess you would say.
And Bill, just to clarify that, what you mean by horizontal wire is like a tensioned stainless steel cable.
Yes.
Or versus, say, like
vertical sort of wrought iron looking, what you see pictured here. And also, just to be technically accurate, we would not be doing the part on the far left of that picture. So it would stop at the yellow stripes of those steps. So just the tenant's portion of it, not the other end there. So what you mainly see in this picture, yes, but the bit off to the left there, on the other side of the yellow safety bar steps, we're not proposing to do that. That my drafter got a little carried away there, but.
And Bill, maybe you could also then clarify in that in the picture, it looks like the height of the existing wall is fairly consistent, but you'd said it, you mentioned a range of heights, and I sort of remember that as you move towards the hotel, it gets lower and lower. Is that correct?
It does. There's a bit of a rise and fall in that sidewalk, but it's pretty minor. It's between 20 and 24 inches, give or take. So,
yeah.
But yes, you're correct. It does trend
once
down.
you get up to the intersection, I think that there's hardly any wall there at all, right?
It's still significant.
A little
There's
bit.
sort of this little recessed bunker or something in there, some drop down area right there, oddly enough, but it's at least 2 steps as shown here. So plus that 6-inch curb. So yeah, it's in the, for sure, maybe 18 inches by the time you get there, but it's anyway, it's there. It is what it is. And we don't propose to change that rock wall.
And then also maybe just to clarify, where the sign, the spinner's sign, is just for sort of overall aesthetic, but you're not coming in for a sign review at this point in time.
No, we couldn't. I didn't realize the technicality of you have to get the sign permit first,
yeah,
and then come in for approval. I'm not sure why that is, but I thought it would be the other way around. So
okay.
We will do that at a later date.
Okay, and Commissioner Ikuchi, you have a question?
May I ask one more question of the
Yes, go ahead.
It appears in that middle section, just for clarification, that the iron gate kind of like extends around the whole thing, and that maybe there's some umbrellas in the middle. So is that accurate? Does the iron gate enclose the umbrella and tables?
Yeah, move to the upper picture again, please. Okay, what actually happens here is that's a ramp going up. So it goes from 24 inches to 0 up there on the other side of the pink chaise lounge. And so we have that's where people have been falling off actually. The planter kind of discourages any through passage, those existing planters. And we intend to maintain those and plant them more nicely. But this bit in going up that ramp, that's been the most dangerous part. So yes, it does partially curve in there. And if we could look at a floor plan, I can give you the rest of it. There's one in here somewhere. There we go. So if you look at you can see that ramp coming in on the right of the drawing, which is a little fuzzy here, and you see the arc of that shaded in area. So the curved portion has the rail, and then the straight portions or the angled portions and the portion by the stairs, there's no rail there at all.
Okay,
So
got it.
Yeah.
And also the artist, I love the artwork. The artist you're going with is Punky Aloha, is that right?
That's correct, yes. And Punky just did a nice one over at the Brew Block for one of my other clients. So, yeah. So that's been proven very popular.
Wonderful.
So commissioners, does anyone else have a question for the applicant? Okay, not seeing anyone unmute or raise their hand. So thank you, Bill, for adding that additional information. So we'll move on to discussion, and I'll start off the discussion and just say that when I first glanced through the packet, I didn't quite understand this as completely as it was now presented with sort of everything together. And I think, my experience of that area is it's sort of a no man's land in front of that building right now. And I think that adding this outdoor seating and sort of taking care of the safety of the drop off is going to be a really good thing for the village. and to bring that kind of activity right on along the street there. So and it seems to be, very much in keeping with the village. So I'm definitely in favor of this application. Commissioners, does anyone else have any discussion that they'd like to add?
I was sorry. I have something to say.
Ikuchi, go ahead.
Yeah, artwork, beautiful. Love the idea of the artwork. Personally, like for my personal opinion and aesthetic, I would prefer to see more of the horizontal cable look instead of the vertical kind of like black iron gate. It's giving me a little bit prison mixed with Disneyland. So I would like the cables instead, because then it would provide the safety measure, but be a little bit less, drawing a little bit less attention to the safety feature itself. But that's my personal opinion. I don't know how everyone else.
Yeah, I think I support you there, Michaela, and I'd like to see that actually put into the motion to approve. So, other than, besides me promising that we'll do it horizontally, I said we put in the requirement that that be horizontal, and that will be perfectly acceptable to myself and my client.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Bill. Commissioners, does anyone else have anything that they'd like to add? Okay, not seeing anything. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding this this application? Maybe Commissioner Ikuchi, you could make your motion and include the railing.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to make a motion to approve with the stipulation that the gate proposed would be changed to horizontal thinner cabling.
Yeah, I think I would call it a guardrail.
Guardrail.
Guardrail, yeah.
Do I need to repeat that?
Well, maybe just go ahead and repeat, just so that they can get it written down.
Okay,
Right.
I would like to make a motion. Sorry, I don't make a whole lot of motions. I would like to make a motion to approve with the stipulation that the guardrail presented would be changed to a thinner horizontal cabling.
A horizontal
Cable.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I will second the motion.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Sullenberger beat you to it, Commissioner Smith. It's okay. Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Ikuchi, seconded by Commissioner Sullenberger. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, not seeing anyone raise their hands. So if there's no further discussion, let's move on to voting. Let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, Chair, this is Rosalind. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Chang?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, you said aye. Okay. Commissioner Crusat?
Aye.
Maker of the motion, Commissioner Ikuchi?
Aye.
Commissioner Kern is absent and excused. Commissioner Riley Smith?
Aye.
Second of the motion, Commissioner Sullenberger?
Aye.
And Commissioner Warchick is also absent and excused. So that's 5 aye votes. Motion passed.
Right.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Great. Okay, so the motion is adopted. So we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, the next project. The application number is PL-KVD 2021 5009, and the applicant is Mr. Zach Hansen of Christopher Kidd and Associates LLC architect firm and applicant. They're proposing exterior and tenant improvements at the existing commercial building for a new outpatient dialysis clinic at the Konicle Shopping Center, located off Palani Road at Queen Kailua Highway. The exterior improvements include a new awning, new trash enclosure, new main entrance, new window assemblies, new metal doors, new electrical equipment with protected bollards, new egress lights, repairs to damaged CMU exterior wall, and accessible parking signage on the exterior walls. Exterior improvements will be of dark bronze color to match the storefront. There are no other changes to the exterior colors of the building. The interior tenant improvements are not included in the design review. The applicant is Zach Hansen of Christopher Kidd and Associates LLC. Landowner is Lilio Kalani Trust Estate, TMK 74015001, located at 74-5588 Palani Road, Suite 29 in Kailua, Kona. Will staff please give us an introduction to this application?
Thank you, Chair. It's Rosalind Newland again. Let me try this one more time. Let's see, where's my share button? Okay, do you see that? Okay.
Yep, we got it.
Okay, great. Okay, this is a tenant site at the Konicle Shopping Center on the side facing Queen Kaumano Highway at the corner of Palani Road. And this is an aerial view of it. Here's Queen Kaumano Highway and there's Palani. Let me get my pointer. Pardon me? Well, I'm gonna show, oh, okay, I'm looking at the wrong slide. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. Let me get my pointer. Okay, well, I think you all know this intersection. It's a business intersection in Kailua, Kona. Here's Palani and here's Queen Kaumano Highway. And there's the area where the tenant improvement will be facing here. Here's the tax map showing 74151 Konicle Shopping Center. Here's Palani. Here's the highway. Here's a site plan showing everything. So I'm going to try and break it up a little bit later, but here I zoom in a little bit. You'll see that here's the generator. Let me get the pointer again. Sorry. Doesn't say zoomed. Sorry. Well, it doesn't want to stay zoomed up. The generator is here with an enclosure. The equipment enclosure is right next to it. The trash enclosure is over here. And here's all the storefront improvements in here. And there's a canopy or awning, the dark bronze awning right here. And here's the parking along here. And well, this is the rest of the parking for Konicle Shopping Center. You'll see the other improvements that you're used to seeing here, the coffee, tea, and me, the gas station. The gas station's right here, so forth. If I can zoom this in a little bit more. There we go. This is an existing canopy right here. The new canopy is over here facing the highway. Okay. I split this. This is the slide you initially got. The reason you got an additional slide was I requested from the applicant if they had color. He mentioned after he submitted the application, they had a color presentation, so I asked for it to help the commissioners better visualize what's happening. But moving along, here is the generator elevation, and it has a fence that is, I wrote it down here, it's 11, it's over 11 feet tall. And then the generator, same thing. Well, that's the generator. Then the trash enclosure has a 6 foot tall fence, and they all have vinyl slats with the color to be approved by the owner. Here's the trash enclosure, 6 foot tall fence. Yeah, the generator fence is 11 feet 6 inches tall. And going back on this is zone CV, so their setbacks, just so you know, they don't have side yard setbacks. That's why you'll see that these enclosures are right up to the property line. They have front yard setbacks, and in this case, they have 2 front yards of 15 feet. And there's a distance of 70 feet actually from their property boundary to where this canopy is located. Okay. These are the new doors they're putting in, and these are the new windows they're putting in, and there's a new bronze awning. In a minute, you're gonna see the color slide. Here's the color slide. There's the new windows, there's the new bronze awning. And I'm gonna show a close-up of what this is. I think this is a metal door or something like that. Here's the fencing with a dark fabric and I think that really shows it as dark fabric. They say in their notes that it's gonna be vinyl slats. We can ask the applicant about that. These are all the notes right in here. I've got a blow up of that in a minute. But there's another close-up of the elevation of the building. Another blow up of the side of the building. Okay. There's the roll-up door. Another elevation. These are the notes that originally was submitted showing the colors, the dark brown, the dark bronze, dark bronze, dark bronze for all the finishes of the exterior windows and the doors and the awning. And this is the floor plan. Oops, we gotta go a little bit off center. But we're not doing a design review of the interior anyway, but this shows the outline of the canopy facing the storefront entrance. Okay, is there any questions? Oh, and just by the way, since they probably will be coming in for a sign permit later, this particular site has 2 or more sign variances that allowed certain exceptions or deviations from the sign code for, in some cases, larger letters for some of the tenants. And then, as you recall, Ross Dress for Less, which was in Pier 1 Imports, and then a few other stores allowed even larger letters for roof signs and wall signs. So when someone comes into Konicle Shopping Center for a sign permit, we have to review all the conditions as listed on those sign variances to see if it's consistent with those variances are approved for Konicle Shopping Center. Okay, is there any questions?
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Roz on the application? I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand. Thank you, Roz.
Okay, should I unshare it? Anyone want to keep it up here?
Well, why don't you just leave it
I'll
up
leave it, okay.
in case, and so the next thing is does the applicant have anything that they would like to present? I think I saw Zach Hansen on there. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, this is Zach Hansen with Christopher Kidd and Associates.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Roz covered it really well. We are going into basically the back 3/4 or so of what was the Pier 1 import space. So we are proposing a new entrance with the canopy. The canopy, as you saw on the floor plan, will be contained within kind of the limits of the existing building where those CMU portions protrude out, but to provide some guidance and more of an entrance feel to that side of the building. The storefront windows on that side are into the patient treatment area to provide natural light while they're getting their treatment done. Back around to the back of the building, the 2 doors on the left side of the elevation that you see will be new doors. One is a patient egress door. The other is a service door for clinical waste pickup and removal. The roll-up door and the other door are actually existing doors that will remain as our delivery doors. There's an existing canopy over that as well. We are mounting some electrical equipment on the back of the building with protection ballards and then additional electrical switchgear out near the generator. So the generator is provided to provide backup power in the case so they can finish treatments in the case of any kind of power outage. The fence, the height of the fence is so that we can completely obscure the generator from view, and so people aren't tempted to try to get to it. It is a tall generator with a diesel tank below it, so it does sit quite tall. Chain link fences are standard with privacy slats, just again so people aren't seeing in and trying to get in there. But, and then a standard chain link trash enclosure for their waste from the clinic. Being a medical clinic, they do generate a bit of waste for its own dumpster enclosure. So that's a pretty quick rundown of it. If you guys have any questions or anything, I'd be happy to answer them.
So Zach, maybe just you could clarify on the generator, the size of that generator. My guess is that that's necessary in order to be able to have a safely operating clinic. You've got to have backup power immediately available. Is that true?
Yeah, so for most of the clinics we've done in Hawaii, just with power outages that come more frequent than maybe other places, that generator allows them to continue treatment. So if a power outage or something happens during the middle of a treatment, that generator allows them to continue their treatment. The treatment's typically around a 4-hour treatment. So it gives them time to safely complete that treatment before the patients leave. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is very, very necessary. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very important in this situation for this type of procedure. So.
Okay. Commissioners, does anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Okay. Thank you, Zach, for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so let's move on to discussion of the of this application. So I'll start off saying I think seeing this portion of the building used in a way that adds more windows to it and adds more a real a good use for the community is I'm definitely in favor of it. The one thing I might add is that with the I understand they have the awning to sort of mark the entry and provide some shade there. I would be inclined to maybe add to the motion that we make that if the owner decided that they wanted to extend those awnings across all the windows, that would be very acceptable as far as the the way I'd see it from the design commission. I think it would provide some nice shading for the window and it would not hurt the look of it at all. But if they need to do just one bay for cost, that's understandable as well. Commissioners, does anyone else have anything they'd like to add to the discussion? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand or unmute. Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion on this application?
I'll make the motion to approve as submitted.
Okay. Commissioner Kursat is making a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second the motion.
And that's seconded by Commissioner Ikeuchi. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing no discussion, let's move on to a roll call vote.
Okay, Chair. Thank you. It's Rosalind again. I'll do a roll call vote. So Commissioner Ching.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Krusat, make your the motion.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Ikeuchi, second the motion. Aye. Commissioner Curran, absent and excused. Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Sullenberger.
Aye.
And Commissioner Warchick, absent and excused. So that's 5 aye votes, so the motion passes. Thank you.
Great, motion is adopted. Thank you, Zach, for bringing this up. Okay, so that concludes our new business. I believe that the next item on the agenda is election of officers for 2022. So
I nominate Sean Ross to continue on as chairperson.
I second that motion.
I third that motion.
okay, I was going to say, if anyone else wants to do it, I'm completely willing to give up the job.
I'll fourth the motion.
Okay, so okay, I'm willing to do it again, even though I'm still a holdover. So I would add that we do need to try and recruit some more people to the to fill the last position on the commission to help us keep our be able to meet our quorum more easily. So I'll do it as long as you guys help out by trying to recruit someone to fill the spot. Okay. Okay. So I guess we have the.
So we'll do a roll call vote then? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. And then we'll have to do a vice chairman as well.
Vice chair, okay.
But
So for
we can do
chair,
for chairman first. Yes.
okay, for chair, Commissioner Roth has been nominated by, maker of the motion is Commissioner Sullenberger. And the second of the motion was Commissioner Chang. So Commissioner Chang, maker of the motion, second of the motion.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Cruzat.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Ikeuchi.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I'll say it wrong. Ikeuchi, I'm sorry. Aye. Commissioner Kern, absent excused. Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Sullenberger, maker of the motion.
Aye.
Aye. Or was that second of the motion? Maker of the motion, yes. And Commissioner Warchek, absent excused. So we have 5 aye votes. Commissioner Roth has been nominated as chair.
Okay.
Big circle around their name. So for vice chair, you can do it now.
For vice chair, I'd like to nominate either Commissioner Ikeuchi or Commissioner Kursat so that we have some equal gender representation on the chair, vice chair. Are either of you willing to be the vice chair? You're both overly qualified.
I can be the vice.
Yes. Okay. So I nominate Commissioner Ikeuchi to be the vice chair.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Good. Okay, seconded by Commissioner Kursat. Any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, let's have a roll call vote.
You think you Chair, it's Rosalind again. Okay, Commissioner Ching.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner. Yes, Commissioner Cruzat, second of the motion.
Aye.
I'm confused from it, sorry. Can I say Commissioner Ikeuchi? Commissioner Ikeuchi, or when you've been nominated? No. So
I suppose-
Commissioner Ankern, absent and excused. Commissioner Roth, maker of the motion.
I'll say aye.
Aye. Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Sullenberger,
Aye.
and Commissioner Warchek, absent and excused. Okay, so that's 5 ayes for Commissioner Ikeuchi, and so she's now the vice chair.
Okay. You better hope that I-
Congratulations.
you better hope I
Sean.
stay healthy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, that was relatively painless, depending on who you are, I suppose. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Announcements we have on the agenda on announcement, we had the next meeting is tentatively scheduled for January 25th. Staff, are there any other announcements?
No, I don't believe there is. But I believe our January 25th, we do not have a meeting. We have not received any applications. So
But at this time, it looks like there's no meeting on the 25th. Okay.
correct.
And so that would mean our next potential meeting is
February 8th.
February 8th. Okay, great. Okay, so before we adjourn, I'd like to say just, Corporation Counsel sort of reminded us during their presentation how much planning staff does for this commission, as far as, we don't have to take notes and we don't have to assemble the packets and all these things. So I'd just like to thank, thank all the planning staff, Noriko, Deanne, Roslyn, and the people behind you as well, who help this commission run and make it much easier for us commissioners. So thank you again.
You're here.
And commissioners, also, thank you for being here and getting us to quorum. When we're down one, it sometimes we need everyone here. So again, thank you for showing up for this. I'm sure the applicants all appreciate it very much to be able to have their business proceed through. So, alrighty, well, Happy New Year, everyone. And if there's no further business, we'll say that this meeting is adjourned at 6:37 p.m. Not bad for how much was on the agenda.